So really quick, this is my full card breakdown. I'm going to do a video tomorrow on the main event where I'm going to break down why this was such a monumental fight, what it meant for both of their legacies and to the company. But this is my full card review, and for what this card was and how it was booked, it worked perfectly. But let's get into it here. College Judy's she scored Nicole on the feet and missed most of the fight. And basically Judy stopped Nicole with a knee to the body, finished it on the ground. Yeah, that's all I know what to say about that fight. She was throwing any combination. Ooh, excuse me. She was scoring um, Nicole on the feet with any combination she chose. And yeah, the setup to the knees of the body was good. Landed, I believe it was a 1-2, moved in with the knee. But yeah, good win for her. We then move on to Bruno Ferreira getting a first down armbar. Or no lines or whatever. So McVeigh did look good on the feet. He was backing Bruno Ferreira up with his jab. And keep in mind, excuse me, Jackson McVeigh is a guy who uh, Jackson McVeigh is a guy who's coming into the UFC right off of a bunch of first round knockouts and that. And McVeigh brought the fight to the ground, which was the one place he did not want Bruno Pereira to go to. Bruno instantly reversed position into the top mount. McVeigh then just gave up his arm instantly and put it way out in the open, basically saying, "Hey, dude, take my arm." And Bruno Ferreira got the armbar. Really good win for him. Bruno Ferreira, he could be a force to be reckoned with. I he has a lot of good wins in the UFC, but he also has some questionable, well, not questionable, like he has notable losses. But good, really good performance by him. We move on to Ryan Spann getting a first on guillotine over Lucas Brzezinski. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my little advertisement to any light heavyweight in the UFC who's a 500 fighter, isn't breaking it into the top 15. Ryan Spann is showing you exactly why you need to move up to heavyweight. Spann instantly got Brzezinski down, passing the half guard with ease, and then secured an arm triangle breakaway, lost it, and then while Brzezinski was trying to get up, he left his neck wide out in the open for Ryan Spann to wrap the guillotine in, and he got it. So, Ryan Spann, he just lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta, but I mean, Waldo Cortez Acosta is one of these heavyweights who actually is athletic, has power, and is somewhat well rounded. Um, well, yeah, good one for him. I really think that he has a shot at breaking into the top of heavyweight. Maybe not a title shot, but I think Ryan's fan moving to heavyweight, he will probably be one of the veterans of this division who ends up racking up a ton of big wins in the heavyweight division, where you look back and you're like, wow, he actually beat this guy, this guy. I don't know, it could be wrong. Really good performance by him. Maybe Ryan Spann can become champion, but I really doubt it. Then we move on to Jimmy Crute getting a first round armbar over Petrino. Crute looked really good right out the gate. He came out really sharp, landed some jabs to find the distance, and got the takedown. Petrino did outland him in the process of finding his range, but Crute got him down and found the armbar. Called out Justin Jacoby after. I mean, really, on as close to perfect a performance as you're gonna get. It's a good win for him, a guy who's had a lot of draws, a lot of close fights, having this big performance. And it calls out Dustin Jacoby, which I think I really like that fight. I think both of them are kind of in the same position where they're almost ready to break in to being a contender, but they also, they will also fight here and there that makes you question things. But yeah, I like the fight. Really good performance by him. We then move on to Islam Duatov. Another first round knockout. Duatov was able to find a body kick early. And one of the things that I am big on, and if you watch my streams or any of my other breakdowns, I really like body kicks. I like, when fighters go to the body because it's a really good way to tire out your opponent. Especially when majority of the fighters we have right now are wrestlers. But Duartop found that kick. We'll get one to the clinch where he did land some big knees up the middle. But Chekhov took coming out of that um, clinch, drops Hogan, then Duartop jumped on him and woke him up with his punches, smashed his head into the canvas. And yeah, really good win. He shouted out his training partner, damn it, Abu Smugglemaidov. Um, but yeah, really, really good performance. I knew I say this after every fight, but I liked his speed. I liked how he plays to all those body kicks. And again, it's what I like about a body kick, right, is because you're finding distance and you're hitting them right in the rib cage, right where the lungs are. And again, you're taking off that stamina quicker. But yeah, uh, good one by him. We move on to attack by Gutierrez, slaughtering Robert Blatton. Um, He instantly called Blanton within seconds of the fight, starting with the left hook, and then chased him across the cage, dropping him until he folded against the cage. This guy, Cameroon, African, big dude, a lot of power. His only loss is, I think, over by decision. But yeah, this was basically watching legalized murder in a cage. But I mean, as we sign up, that's what we love to see in the sport, right? Really good win by him. I like him. Again, another Cameroon guy who knocks people out. I like seeing knockouts. So, I hope he turns into something big, wins the belt, talks about fighter health care, and then goes and has a shit ton of boxing events, makes a shit ton of money, and then wants to come back. But the owner slash promoter is too salty that he made the best decision for his family to make more money at the time. I'm going on a tangent here, but good win by him. I think he'll be a star. Um, Nikolai Varetnikov. This was this is a fun fight. Now, wasn't a finish, boo, but Prado got Varetnikov down early, had his back briefly, and then he went for an armbar and got slammed out of it. And I always just thought that would put him out. No, he instantly snapped back, recovered in full guard. Varetnikov then let him up and landed a massive knee to the body. Varetnikov then dropped. I'm gonna hit myself. Varetnikov then basically went on to land the bigger shots of the round. Prado did keep it close though. Varetnikov then dropped Prado early in the second with a hook. He recovered though. Prado then dodged a spinning wheel kick into a suplex, which is one of the coolest things I have ever seen. Like, dude, like, it was some James Bond shit there, right? Moving into round two. Round two was a very close round. Even with the takedowns, I think Nikolai Varetnikov did enough damage on the feet to say that he won the round. Um, and then moving into round three, Prado was trying to establish the wrestling game, where Nikolai reversed another takedown in the third. Prado then rolled into top mount from it, held him down, but Nikolai Varetnikov won a split decision. And this is a fight that perfectly begs the question, is damage really the number one thing on the scoring criteria? Because yes, Prado held him down, but most of the time he was doing fuck all, right? And Nikolai did more damage. But again, nobody knows anymore how we score fights. I know they made the whole thing earlier where like they came out and clarified things, but the fucking judges don't know what the fuck they're judging, man. But anyways, they weren't that bad tonight. Though. They weren't bad tonight. Brendan Allen. Oh, yeah. Fuck. So this is another video I'm gonna make this week, specifically on Marvin Vittori cause you have to talk about what happened to his brother, right? Again, that for me is like that would probably be my biggest fucking nightmare at that. Like one of like my siblings, fucking, being engulfed in a fire. Like, damn, dude. But Allen got Vittori down instantly in round one, busted his nose. Round one was easily Brendan Allen's round, but again, Vittori has that toughness stayed in there. Allen controlled Vittori, but Vittori was able to fight out of it eventually. Landed some big shots. Oh, landed some big shots on the feet. And it was Brendan Allen's round. Round two, Vittori came out swinging, landed a lot of big shots. It was a stand-up round, which favored Vittori slightly. But again, Brendan Allen was doing really good on the feet. I did not expect him to be able to, outland and outwit Marvin Vittori. But he was. Like, he actually is improving in the striking a lot. He is mainly a grapple, as we know. Then Victoria taunted him after. Yeah, Victoria taunted him. I believe it was in the middle of the third, and then instantly ate a big knee. Well, like because it's Marvin Victoria and his chin doesn't make any sense. He ate it, but Brendan Allen won 2:30:20 1:29:28, and yeah, it sucked. I was rooting for Marvin Vittori. I'm not a big Brendan Allen fan. I actually had nothing against him. I'm just, Marvin Vittori, what he went through, I just would have been nice to see him get a win after that, you know what I mean? But, fuck, man, like, you gotta give him that respect of, hey, he went out there after what happened, and he had a damn good fight. Um, but yeah. We move on to Vinicius Oliveira beating Keller Phillips by unanimous decision. Keller Phillips caught Oliveira early, uh, and then outstruck, and then Vinicius Oliveira outstruck Phillips majority of that round. Round two, then Oliveira outstruck him in that round severely. Was landing a lot of good combinations, popping him with some big jabs, mixing out the kicks. He took over the fight, landed more significant strikes from both the second and the third. Wins by unanimous decision 29-28. It was a really good round. He really did a good job recovering. Even in late into round one, he was showing signs of taking the fight back over. And there were a lot of times where he popped Tyler Phillips in it. Really good win for him. Uh, I I don't know where he's at in that division. I really don't know because that division is really tough right now. Again, one of the most competitive. But it was a good win. I just beat Saeed Nurmagomedov in his last fight. So he's putting together a decent run. Then we move on to Michael Johnson defeating Zell Huberman. I was rooting heavy for Michael Johnson, mainly because I wanted him to win a fight on the same card as Dustin Poirier retiring because he'd be so poetic, and it was. Johnson immediately out of the gate ripped his shorts, but he was quick. He was finding his shots early in the round, and he continued to find them. There was a nut shot at a minute 48. Zelhuber was just spamming high kicks all of round one. But I liked how Michael Johnson was moving. I liked the shots that he was finding and landing, and putting together a bit of a rhythm. Then Michael Johnson knocked Zelhuber down midway into the second. More body kicks than Zelhuber, but that was mainly the only thing he was doing the entire fight. He did set a bit of a pace near the halfway of the third. Um, he even went for a choke. But Michael Johnson in this fight, he just looked so consistent. He looked incredible. And like at the age of what, 41, 42, he looks nearly identical to how he looked in his prime. And again, don't forget, he beat Dustin Poirier. He beat Justin Gaethje. If you go look at his record, it is very deceiving. If you have not looked at his typology or his, whatever show dog, whatever, go look at his record and see the kind of wins that Michael Johnson has. But again, the fact that he won on the same night as these two Hall of Famers, which you knocked out the guy retiring. Very poetic, right? Then we move on to Patricio Pitbull winning by unanimous decision. Now, we know that moving into this fight, this is a major step down. They gave him Yair Rodriguez. He looked like absolute fucking dog shit in that fight. Um, but first minute was slow. Pepper was doing well, finding his distance, and then found his openings. Um, and he did really good in the first round, landing a lot of big shots. But obviously, we know Danny J is a beast. Danny J is the standard for featherweight. And no, I mean that as a compliment, right? You need to be at the level of Danny J to make it in this division. And Danny J is a fucking beast, man. What showed in the second round, he opened with a high kick. Pitbull landed a big uppercut that Ige moved into. Um, not this second. Pitbull then got a takedown. Um, then Ige though was able to defend well, get back up. Then Ige got Pitbull with a big knee on a takedown to start round three. Really good, really big. I thought that Pitbull would have been stunned by it, but he recovered really quick. And Ige picked up the pace in round three at Wendy Pitbull. Um, Pitbull won 29-28, and again, it was just Pitbull looked much better in this fight. I think maybe it was an activity thing, right? But he looked good. He was able to find the takedowns, able to threaten submissions, and he was able to get in those nasty exchanges where he does best at, where he beat Michael Chandler at. You know, now that we know that Pepper is a legit featherweight contender, I want to see him fight a. I don't want to see him fight a top five guy. Give him like a guy right outside the top five. Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna pull up the featherweight rankings right here. UFC rankings. Alright. So we go to feather. See. If you watch my live stream today, you know I fucking hate the UFC website. Can you just fucking work? Fuck's sakes. Well, whatever. Looking at the featherweight division, right? You got Diego Lopez, you got Yair Rodriguez fighting for the title. You got John Silva, who's fighting Diego Lopez. I wanted to fight a guy who's maybe two fights away from the belt. I think that's perfect for him. But we move on to Daniel Rodriguez versus Kevin Holland. Now, I picked Kevin Holland to win this fight. But this is the thing with Kevin Holland. The fights that you think he should win, he loses. But the fights that you think he should lose, he wins. And I said in my picks, I thought that Kevin Holland committing to welterweight, we would see, a possible title run with a committed Kevin Holland. Round one was purely a brawl. Holland was by far the more technical striker. But D-Rod caught him with a hook, dropped him. Then he dropped Holland twice in the second round. Holland then got back into the round, but then got dropped again. Then Holland Colin dropped um D-Rod after, like, a moment after. And he was really damaging Daniel Rodriguez. But then D-Rod managed to fight his way back into it, got to mount, and then rained shots on Holland to end the fight. He won 29-28, and this is a big win for him. Like this, again, Kevin Holland was on a decent run moving into this. Daniel Rodriguez, I kind of think he'll stay at gatekeeper at 170. I really do. I respect Daniel Rodriguez. I respect what he's been through. I will never actively root against him because of him. But I'm a pretty big Holland fan, right? So I was rooting for him. Really good win. And it was definitely a statement win that, hey, I can hang around with some of the names here. Again, Kevin Holland beat Walking Buckley, right? So you gotta think of that. But yeah, we move on to Paulo Costa versus Roman Coppola. Now, Paulo Costa fights are very fucking weird. I don't know. Anybody else feel that way? So Paulo Costa, as I wrote down, Paul runs in and instantly kicks the body, and he was just chipping away at that body for the better part of round one. Coppola was quicker, but Costa, again, similar to previous fights, was finding that body kick, finding his shots at range. And I'm gonna get more into it at the end. Costa didn't mix anything up. Then Copperweb gets rocked and loses his mouth guard, which instantly gave the round to Costa. But then Costa just kept going to the calf, which I guess worked to slow down Copperweb. And then Copperweb's output was extremely low. I don't know if Costa chewed up his leg that quickly, but then Paulo was mixing his targets a bit, moving to the head, ripping to the body, mixing those leg kicks that severely handicapped, me saying handicapped, Kovalev in this fight. But yeah, Kovalev had his moments in round three, which stepped off the gas, and Costa wins by unanimous decision, 230-27, 29-28. He trashed Roman for all the disrespect leading up to this fight, and he said he wants Hamza Chimaev, and he doesn't care. He just wants to put Hamza Chimaev because of what Hamza Chimaev has been saying about Paulo Costa. I think it would definitely be an entertaining build-up. These two going back at one another is really fun. I again, what was Paulo Costa moving into this? Like 1-4 in his last five. So I think he has a bit of work before he makes it up to Hamza Chimaev. It depends if Hamza wins at UFC 319. But yeah, Paulo Costa gets back in the winning column. We'll see. We'll see. He's been a top contender at middleweight for a while. He had a wicked run, and then he ran into Israel Adesanya, and ever since then, it's kind of not gone his way, and he's been very weird. But yeah, good win for him. Then we finally make it to the main event, and I wanted to write this in. Poirier walks out first. I would have had Max Holloway walk out first. And again, I know that Max Holloway had the BMF belt. He's ahead of him in the rankings. I would have gave Poirier that nod of, hey, you're the last man out tonight. You're the last one in, and you're the last one out. I don't know. Maybe that's my own little tiff that nobody else will have. But I really think they thought they should have had Dustin walk out last. But again, not the point. And they hugged before the fight. And this is, if you were watching my live stream, this is the part that got me. And I nearly cried watching this fight. The hug before the fight. Then, again, I hate how I write out all. I write out all my notes here. And again, only half of them safe. Max dropped Dustin with a really good combination. I believe it was a left hook that dropped him. But Dustin recovered quickly. Max, so the improvements between the first and second fight really showed. Max always since, I would say, the second Gold fight has been a completely different fighter. When he went on that major run, when he beat Arnold Dell and he beat Yair Rodriguez and he KO'd Korean Zombie, that I think that is a completely different Max, and that turned into the Max we have now. But he dropped Dustin early. Then Max was getting some great combination. Again, I'm the best boxer in the world. Now, Ilya Taporia proved he was the best boxer in the UFC, and I believe he does have the best boxing in the UFC I have ever seen in my 16 years of watching the sport. Um, but yeah, man, Max is getting confident in the first and the second. Moving into the third, Max Holloway had a big flurry, dropped Max and went for or Dustin actually dropped Max in the third and went for a guillotine, which he, Dustin Poirier, that's his bread and butter. I believe he got Max Holloway in the first fight with, wasn't it an arm triangle or an arm bar? I forgot, damn it. But, Max is quick with his combination once again, and he stayed so consistent in this fight. Round 4, Poirier was walking forward and landing. I had him winning round 4 confidently. He was just, Dustin. Again, one of the best boxers, and if Dustin Poirier was 3 years younger, I think Poirier versus Taporia would have been a fucking what? And I honestly think that prime Dustin Poirier has a really good shot at beating Ilya Taporia. But Max Holloway was on another level tonight. He was landing his combination. He was ripping, shots. He was gaining that confidence, and the more that he was able to endure the shots from Dustin, and he was able to land the more damaging shots, land that jab. But again, Max Holloway is fucking huge too, and that definitely showed tonight. That definitely showed that again, Max, even though he's one of the greatest featherweights of all time, this guy is master for 155. Um, will he ever go up to 170? Maybe. I mean, we'll have to see how his weight run goes. But man, it was, although Max won this fight confidently, and now one judge gave Dustin 2 rounds. It looks like Dustin only won round 4 to me. Just the fact that the hug at the beginning, the hug when Max gets in the cage, the hug between each round, like dude, we all know Dustin Poirier brought Max Holloway into the UFC. And this is Max Holloway sending Dustin Poirier out. And man, it's just seeing that little, those little signs of respect during a cage fight where they're both trying to knock each other unconscious. That's how you know that this trilogy was monumental. This the Max Holloway Dustin Poirier trilogy, if you want to look at it this way, is the story of the biggest stars of this sport. Because Dustin Poirier beat Max. He went on to lose to Connor. And then after losing to Connor, Dustin Poirier built himself into what he was leading into this fight. And Max Holloway stays at featherweight. Goes on a major 13-fight win streak, however long it was. And then knocks out Jose Aldo. Knocks out Jose Aldo again. And then he just runs through featherweight. Ortega. Chad Mendes. Frankie Edgar. Legends of the sport, right? And then during that insane run that Max goes on, Khabib gets injured and the opportunity to fight for an interim title pops up against Dustin. And to win that interim title, that's what built Dustin into the current fight. If Max won that fight and went on to fight Khabib, and fuck, let's just say he beat Khabib, Max Holloway would have been, we would have been talking about Max Holloway being a top 5 fighter all time. Then obviously you had the Volkanovski fights. But again, you ask different people, hey, what do you think won the first Max fight? The first Max versus Wolf fight. You're gonna get people who said, oh, I thought that Max won. Or, yeah, I thought that Wolf slightly won. Second fight. I thought that Max won the second fight. Again, against Volkanovski, who just won back the title against the guy that he went into to fight before this fight and got knocked out for the first time. And then you're gonna have Max Holloway come back to 155, stay here with the guy who just knocked him out, coming up to the division and knocking out the former champion, who he has a win over. And I do want to see the Oliveira fight. I honestly wouldn't mind the Oliveira fight next. Um, But again, man, it's just fuck, dude. These are two of the greatest fighters we've ever seen in the sport. And the way that these two showed that much respect for one another, it got me, man. But Max Holloway moves on, beats Poirier. You gotta think he's only one win away. Or maybe he does fight the winner of Ilya versus Armand. I don't know. That will be something to talk about in tomorrow's video, but that's what I thought about this card. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you guys think about UFC 318? Who impressed you the most? And again, man, how did you feel? What did you take away from Dustin Poirier's retirement? And obviously, I had to send this out, man. And I'm gonna do a better job tomorrow. Hats off to you, Dustin, man. Brother, you fucking brought my interest back into the sport. You were a beast, Everybody looks back and say, oh, oh, history only remembers the winners. Dustin Poirier was a fucking winner, dude. He won that interim belt, and you know what? Maybe it says interim. It's still a fucking world title. And man, it just your character speaks for itself, and what you did in the cage, and what you do in your community, man. Hats off to you. But I will save the rest of it for tomorrow. That's what I got. Thanks for watching. Thank you for all who turned in to the live stream. And yeah, later.